Welcome everyone today. We are talking about something that will leave you speechless. The 1997 1-cent coin, a coin that most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up from the ground. But this very coin, under certain rare conditions, is worth a staggering $18 million. Yes, you heard that right. $18 million for a single penny. And the reason behind this unbelievable value lies in its mysterious errors, minting mistakes, unique production anomalies, and the countless fascinating possibilities that make this small copper-colored coin one of the most extraordinary treasures in American numismatic history. So stay tuned as we unravel every twist, every flaw, every tiny detail that transformed this humble 1997 Lincoln cent into a multi-million-dollar marvel. Because behind its innocent appearance lies a story of chance, precision, and historical rarity that even seasoned collectors dream of discovering. Now let's start by imagining the year 1997, when billions of 1 cent coins were struck by the United States Mint, all bearing the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had been in use since 1959. But among those billions, just a handful were struck under strange and rare circumstances, situations where the normal minting process went wrong in ways no one expected, producing defects that turned into miracles for collectors decades later. Because in the numismatic world, perfection is common, but imperfection, true imperfection, is priceless. And that's exactly what happened with some of the 1997 pennies, coins that slipped past quality checks and ended up in circulation, unknowingly carrying tiny clues of their incredible worth. Now, when we talk about a coin being worth $18 million, you might wonder what could possibly make it so special, and the answer lies in a combination of rarity, demand, condition, and the nature of the minting errors that define its uniqueness. One of the most discussed examples of the 1997 cents value explosion is believed to stem from a double die error on the obverse side, where Lincoln's image or the inscriptions such as Liberty and In God We Trust appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the hubbing process. This means that when the working die was being impressed with the coin's design, it shifted ever so slightly, creating a doubled image, and these doubling effects can vary from minor and barely noticeable to bold and striking, with the most dramatic ones fetching astronomical prices in auctions, because they reveal not only the mechanical imperfection, but also the story of how even a billion-dollar minting system can make mistakes that become legends. But the double die isn't the only type of error that makes the 1997 penny so extraordinary. Some of these coins show off-center strikes, broad strikes, or even die cracks that give them unique visual patterns, like fractures across Lincoln's face or through the words, giving each coin a distinctive fingerprint unlike any other. And then there are examples rumored to be struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the coin blank used was not the standard copper-plated zinc type used in 1997, but instead a leftover blank from a foreign coin or another denomination, such as a dime or even a cent from an earlier year composed of mostly copper, which would drastically change its weight, composition, and color, instantly making it a numismatic anomaly. Imagine discovering a 1997 penny that looks slightly lighter, sounds different when dropped, or even has a slightly off metallic sheen. These subtle signs could indicate a wrong planchet strike, and to collectors, that's like holding a lottery ticket that just happens to be made of metal. Now, when we look at how such coins can command millions, it's not just about the physical errors themselves, but the emotional and historical story attached to them. Because every coin tells a tale of minting technology, human oversight, and statistical improbability. And when that story aligns with collector passion and market rarity, values can skyrocket beyond logic. Some coin experts speculate that the most valuable 1997 penny ever found combined multiple rare errors, possibly a double die obverse with a broad strike and a wrong planchet composition, all in mint state condition, meaning it was never circulated or damaged, and that single specimen, authenticated and graded by top-tier organizations like PCGS or NGC, could easily command a price beyond $18 million due to its unparalleled uniqueness. Think about it. Out of more than 5 billion pennies struck that year, Just one could be the perfect storm of errors, a coin that embodies the impossible odds of minting chaos, resulting in perfection through imperfection. And that's what makes collectors go wild, searching through rolls of old pennies, checking every date in detail with magnifying glasses, dreaming of finding their own fortune in the smallest of places. But what's fascinating about the 1997 penny is that even the slightest variation can make a huge difference. For example, a coin with a subtle die crack across Lincoln's shoulder might sell for hundreds, while one with an off-center strike where 10% of the design is missing could fetch thousands. And if that same coin also displays a doubling in the date or lettering, its price could skyrocket further. Because in numismatics, rarity multiplies value exponentially, not linearly, so each added layer of uniqueness makes the coin exponentially more desirable. Furthermore, there are reports from collectors who found 1997 pennies with unusual metal coloration, some appearing more golden or reddish than others, suggesting compositional anomalies due to incorrect alloy mixtures during production. And while most were copper-plated zinc, sometimes improper plating or contamination during the minting process could cause unique color tones or textures, making those coins highly collectible. There are even rumors that a few 1997 D pennies from the Denver Mint were struck with leftover experimental planchets that were meant for testing purposes, and if one of those somehow made it into circulation, its provenance alone would drive its price through the roof, because historical oddities like that are what collectors crave, tangible pieces of minting mystery. Now, the path to discovering such a valuable coin is not an easy one. It requires sharp eyes, patience, and knowledge of what to look for, and that's where many casual collectors become serious numismatists, dedicating hours, even years, to studying every tiny aspect of coin design and error classification. They know that certain mint marks, die pairings, and strike characteristics can drastically change a coin's value. For instance, a 1997 penny with a die clash error, where one die strikes another without a planchet in between, transferring ghost-like outlines of the design onto the other die, could show faint reversed impressions of the Lincoln Memorial on the obverse side, creating a haunting and incredibly rare pattern, and collectors go crazy for those because they represent a literal collision of two sides of history. Another fascinating aspect of the 1997 cent's potential for extreme value lies in the grading system. Because condition is everything. A coin that might be worth a few thousand in circulated condition could be worth millions if it's graded MS-70, which means a perfect mint state without even the slightest imperfection visible under magnification. And when such an error coin achieves that grade, it transcends from a curiosity to a masterpiece of minting accident, a once-in-a-lifetime artifact of both craftsmanship and chaos. The provenance of the coin also adds to its legend. Imagine a coin discovered not by a professional collector, but by a random person who got it in change at a gas station or grocery store, and years later, after learning about rare errors, realizes they've been holding a multi-million-dollar treasure in their wallet. Those stories fuel public fascination and create viral headlines that push prices even higher, because the narrative of turning a penny into millions is the ultimate dream come true.